Hi, I'm Andy. Welcome to my channel. You might already know me from my blog, BeCleverWithYourCash.com, my podcast, Cash Chats, or you might have seen me when I presented Channel 5's Shop Smart, Save Money, or this might be the first time you've come across me. Whatever the way, glad you're here. Everything I do is all about helping you get the most from your money. That could be saving money, ways to pay less. It could be helping you manage your money a little bit better, a few tips and tricks, or it could be helping you make some cash. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Some free money that is available through something called bank switching. Now, I know a lot of you guys watching this, you're already kind of know about this kind of stuff already. You've been following me for a while, or you're kind of plugged into what's going on with banks. So I won't spend too long explaining how bank switching works. There's a whole video that you can watch which takes you through the ins and outs of that. Okay, so I'll link to that one up here and below. But what I'm really excited about, the reason I'm talking about it right now, is because bank switching bonuses are back. Now these started pretty much, God, we're going back 2013 now. So that's when they first kind of came into play, when banks were offering free cash to try and get you to move from one bank to another. They thought the best incentive is going to be, right, really put it down, here we go, some money. That is why you will change your bank. And it worked. Most of the kind of bank switches that we've seen have been down to that kind of thing. There are other reasons you might want to change your bank. You might want a better overdraft. You might want to get a monthly reward. You might want to get interest on your account. Again, all those kind of things I've spoken about in my kind of monthly roundup of the best bank deals, okay? But what's happening right now, what's really exciting to me anyway, is that bank switching deals kind of disappeared. They were sort of slowing down anyway. Banks were offering them less and less, partly because the way they fund them is putting charges elsewhere on other banking customers. So overdrafts, for example, when banks get a lot of their money, that obviously is to help fund other people get these kind of features, these bonuses. There were changes there, all sorts of things. They started to slowly disappear, reduce in value, and then along came lockdown, along came the pandemic. Every single one of those switching bonuses went, it disappeared. So that was back in March, and kind of really wondered, will they ever come back? But they have. There are now currently 4 bonuses, and there was another one which is already finished. In the last 4 weeks, we've seen 5 different bonuses where you could potentially get, if you did all of them, up to £470, £75 in free cash. Say one of them has ended, but there's still 375 quid available, potentially, if you're able to play it right. So what I'm going to do, I'll explain for you a little bit about those different offers and how you can get them, and a few other things you need to be aware of, because this is kind of extreme bank switching, okay? This isn't just doing it once and that's it, that's your new bank account and you stick with them and you get the bonus. This is repeated bank switching in quite a short space of time. So first of all, I'll take you through who the ones are, which the banks are offering you some cash. Now the brand new one that came, the most recent one, is with HSBC. They are offering £125. That is also the biggest switch, okay? That's the most you can get right now out of all these offers. 125 quid. You need to switch into an HSBC Advance account or a Premier account. I'd ignore the Premier account. The Advanced one is the one you want to go for. Now that one, you do have to pay in £1,750 into it every single month that you own it to be eligible for it, which sounds like a lot of money, but actually when you average that out over a whole year, a lot of people, their salary went in, they could afford it. But still, bear that in mind, that's quite a lot to pay in. But do that, £125 with HSBC. I should also say, and I'll link to it below, and at the end of this article, I'll put it at the top as well, I have got an article which is a bit more information about some of these terms and conditions. Something you also need to know about this HSBC one is you won't get that money until at least a couple of months after you start the switch process. It will take a while for that to come through. At most, you're looking at sort of 30 days, something like that, but I think it'll be a bit longer. Now, there's no end date for this HSBC switching bonus either, which means it could last for quite a long time. It might just be an ongoing one, or it could go any time. So that's why it's also not only the biggest amount of cash, it's also my top one because you might want to grab it before it goes. I can't promise you either way, but that's one to think about. Now the next one is £100 from Lloyds Bank. Now to get this, you have to switch into a Club Lloyds bank account. I've spoken about these quite often. They're pretty good because you can get either free cinema tickets, free movie rentals, or a free magazine subscription on top. Again, there are some terms and conditions that you need to meet to avoid a monthly fee. I think you need to pay in £1,500, but just double check that because you don't want to get charged that monthly fee. Get that account, switch in, £100 is paid to you within 10 working days of starting that switch. So that's pretty quickly, that you're pretty fast that you'll get that money. What's really good here is you can also switch into this account if you've already got one of those. If you've not had a switching bonus before from them in the last couple of years, but you've got another account which you don't use, switch in and you'll get that money as well. Fantastic, you don't have to be a new customer. Now that Lloyds one ends on the 9th of November, so you've got plenty of time to get hold of that. However, really important point here, that Halifax one that I mentioned before, which has been and gone already, that ended a week early. So they can close these before that end date. But at the moment, you've got until the 9th to start that switching process. Now, the next one is with RBS. Now, they are offering £100 as well, and that's to any of their current accounts, including a free account, which is no problem. Existing customers can switch in as well, as long as they've got an account at another bank, a different bank, switch it in and close it. They'll get that £100. You've got to start that switching process by the 19th of November. Now, to get the money on this one, you do have to keep the account open until the 29th of January 2021. That's when you'll get the money. So that's why I've gone with that order. In theory, you could open up an HSBC advance account, switch into it, get that money in around 30, 40 days, then go for the Lloyds account, open that, get that money potentially within 10 days, and then you could go on to that RBS one, get that £100, but you have to keep that account for a little bit longer. Now, you can't get the RBS one if you've already had a NatWest switching bonus or an RBS switching bonus in the past, so bear that in mind. Again, like I said, you need to check all the details on it. This is just kind of a run through of what's available. Do all of those, £325, and I think it is feasible to do all of those in the time you've got available unless they pull them early. The fourth one is with Metro Bank, and this is a bit trickier. This is a referral scheme one, which will pay you 50 quid. So you can't actually do that unless you've got a referral code from someone who's already with Metro. I'm hoping to get hold of one of those soon. I've got one from somebody. I'm going to switch one account over to Metro, so I've got a referral code which I can share with some people. But in the meantime, just ask your friends, ask your family if they're Metro customers, if they've got a code they can give you. That 50 quid, that ends, you have to apply for the switch by the 18th of December. Now, obviously, if you've got a single account that you're switching from one to the other, you might think, well, I can't do that one if I'm doing the RBS one, and you can't. So the only way that you can do all four of these switches right now is if you have more than one account right now that you can switch. Now, I'd always recommend that you have spare accounts anyway. I always think it's worth to have an account that you use to switch, because if these banks are doing it, other banks hopefully will bring back their switching bonuses as well, so you can keep doing it. And you don't want to keep changing your main bank that frequently. You want to just find one you like and stick with that, or one that gives you other benefits. Again, I speak about that quite often in that video that I do every single month that rounds up the best bank accounts. So you want to be able to get all four of them. You do need to have at least 2 accounts that you can switch. And it kind of makes sense if you've got that to switch each one twice rather than one 3 times and one once, just to give you a little bit more leeway. That should be fine, but I do want to give you, this is why I want to go into that. I said a few things you need to be aware of this quite heavy, fast impact rotation of the switches in such a short amount of time, because we're talking about 4 switches here in we're in the middle of September right now as I record this, October, November, December, 3 months. Okay, so that's quite a lot of switching to be doing in a short amount of time. And the reason that could be a potential problem for some people, apart from the fact that you need an extra account to get all of them in the timelines, is because every time you do apply for a new bank account, whether you switch or don't switch, every time you apply for a new bank account, you will be credit checked. There's no soft credit check, no eligibility check that you see with some of the other things. It is a full check because you are applying for the account. Now, you probably won't get rejected because these are the kind of things which, they're not really that credit heavy. And if you're not applying for a big arranged overdraft, there shouldn't be any reason for them to reject you. You're just applying for the current account. But that is a check, and a check does appear on your credit report. Now, when you go to apply for something else, they don't necessarily know what that check was for or why you were after it. And it can sometimes be seen by some lenders as a sign of desperation that you urgently need to borrow money, even though actually what you're doing here is just opening up a current account. It's the same if you were to open, switch your energy and get a new direct debit for your gas and electricity, or your broadband or your mobile phone. Anywhere where you're applying for credit and having a credit check, it appears on there. Now, as I say, it shouldn't be a problem. I don't think it's going to be an issue for you, particularly if you've got a healthy credit score, to do these multiple switches. Okay, I don't think that's going to be a massive problem. But if you are planning to remortgage at any time in the next 6 months, I would say, or you need to get a 0% balance transfer card, or maybe your car leasing, you could look at that again. Anything where you're going to be looking to apply for a decent amount of money, then you need to be careful of any credit applications, let alone doing multiple ones. Now, you might be all right switching one bank account in this time, if one of those is coming up in the next 6 months. Mortgage, I would steer clear. I would keep everything as clean as you can. Don't want any kind of extra bits on there. But anything else, maybe consider one, but don't do the others. So pools. Now, in the past, apart from Metro, which is a brand new one, all of these banks have offered switching bonuses in the past. They've brought them back now. They're doing it again, which means when these offers end, they could bring them back in the spring of 2021 or the summer of 2021, other banks will come along. So it's not the end of the world. So I personally think it's better not to risk it if you think you're going to need to keep an eye on your credit score. But if you've nothing like that's coming on, well, there's no harm giving it a go. Go for one of those first ones. And I think, say, the HSBC one is the first one to try, simply because we don't know when it will end. Then go for the Lloyds one, because that one has a nearer date, but also you get that money pretty fast within 10 working days of starting the switching, of completing the switch. And then that gives you time to focus on one of the other two. If you've got two accounts, then do it simultaneously. I would do the HSBC one and the Lloyds one at the same time. And then if you want to switch both of those again, you've got time to do that and keep those accounts open, because realistically, say with that Metro one, not only is that end date the 18th of December, I should have said it can take quite a long time for that money to come through. I would say no sooner than 2 months after switching, because you've also got to spend 10 times on your debit card with that. Again, like I said, you want to check all the terms and conditions and make sure you fulfill it all. 10 times on your debit card, and then it's going to take a bit of time after that, and no sooner than 2 months after switching. So, we're looking at kind of January, February for that one, as well as that RBS one. And more might be on their way. We might have more coming any day now. There you go, potentially £375 of free cash. £125 of that in the next couple of months. Another 150 quid in the new year. It's free money. You absolutely should go for this if you feel confident doing it. If you're still, as I say, not sure about how bank switching works and what it actually means, because there are protections in place, do check out that other video, which will be linked to below. If you found this video useful, please do hit that thumbs up, that like button. It means the world to me, and it helps other people find the video as well, because it means YouTube go, oh, this is good content, people like it, I'll show it to more people. So please do that if you really don't mind at all. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and you won't miss any future videos. Until next time, cheers. And here are a couple more videos you might find interesting.